This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
The day after this match, you go to TV, you ask to meet Vince. Kurt, can you please walk us through in much detail as you can what happened at that meeting?
Okay. When I went to TV the next day, I walked in the production meeting. Vince is up there, up front with some of the writers. The producers were all leaving. And I walk in and I look at Vince and I pull my pants down to my knees. And I said, this is what happened last night. And my whole crotch is black. My hamstring, my front of my leg, my groin, my abdominal, everything was black. He's like, oh, I guess you're not going to wrestle in the triple threat ladder match tonight. I said, no, Vince, we need to talk. He said, all right, let's go talk right now. I said, no, I need to come up to your headquarters this week. He's like, okay, I'll set it up. Not a problem. So later on that week, I flew up to Stamford, Connecticut to the headquarters. And I've never told this story publicly. This is the first time ever. I went to Vince's office. I was with my manager, Dave. And in the office was Shane McMahon, Johnny Laurinaitis, and Vince McMahon. They were sitting at a table. I walk in, and Vince tells us to sit down. We both sit down. And I look in front of me, and there are about 7 pages of typed text messages and voicemails that I left Vince and people in the office. And I was like, what the hell are these? And I'm reading them, and I'm like, it says, Vince, I'm going to kick your ass when I see you. Vince, if you don't call me back, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. All these threats. And I'm like, I don't remember doing this. And I remembered, oh my gosh, my painkillers. See, I never wrestled high. Not once did I ever wrestle high. I always took what I was supposed to. 1 painkiller every 4 to 6 hours. But when the show was over, that's when the addict, Kurt Angle, came in, and I would throw down 20, 25 pills at a time. And then I wouldn't even know. I would black out. I wouldn't know what I was doing. And I was letting out my frustrations by texting Vince, because Vince was distancing himself from me this particular time because my behavior was erratic. I was getting injured. I was pushing to get the title. I was pushing to get on pay-per-views for the reason I wanted to get paid. There were a lot of things going on that Vince was like, okay, I need to back away from this guy for a little bit and, focus more on John Cena, which I completely understood. And at the time I didn't. So I'm reading the text messages, and as I'm doing it, Vince says, you want to beat my ass? And he stands up and takes his jacket off. He goes, let's fight right now. And I'm like, holy shit. My boss, the man who I look up to as a father figure, wants to beat my ass. And I look around the room, and Shane is over halfway out of his seat, because if I get up, Shane's going to jump me. Now, not that Vince needs it, because Vince is a badass. He really is. He didn't need Shane to get involved. But Shane, being the son of Vince, wanted to make sure his dad was okay. And I'm like, this is not going to turn out very well. And I don't want to fight Vince. I never did want to fight him. I was just angry. I was angry at myself. I was angry at the company. So I leave the room. I go outside. I start crying. I don't know what to do. The company wouldn't release me up until this point. They wanted to keep me. They just wanted me to go to rehab and take a break and come back. So I come back in, and I knew I had to get out of this environment, at least for a little while. So I walked back in, and I said to Vince, I can't do this anymore. I was crying, and I said, I'm getting emotional right now. I said, if you don't release me, I think I'm going to kill myself. And I didn't mean I was going to commit suicide. I meant that I was going to accidentally kill myself. OD on painkillers, wrestle myself to death. I didn't know. And I had to get out. And so Vince looks at me and says, you're released. He said, you know what, take a break, go to rehab, come back. We'll have a contract waiting for you. Just take your time. And I appreciated it. I was very grateful. Thing is, I didn't talk to him for 11 years. And when I came back to WWE in 2017, the first thing he said to me was, Kurt, you were a real pain in the ass. And it was like, man, I really was. I was so hard to deal with. And I couldn't do anything but apologize to him 100 times because I knew I was wrong. And so, we made amends, and, the rest is history. We never looked back, and I have a great relationship with him now. But, this is the first time I told that story, and it was really difficult to tell it because I never told anybody about it before.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Kurt. So, had to be such an emotional time for you, dealing with so much in your life. But your story doesn't end there. And that's what I think is important for everyone to hear on this podcast today. Your story is about restoration, because thank the Lord, the good Lord above, you were able to figure it out, regardless of TNA and other things. We're talking about real life. You were able to get it under control, get the help that you needed at some point you did. And it's a story of restoration for where you are now in life.
It was. You're absolutely right. I had to redeem myself, and I was able to do that. It took me a while.
Sure.
I didn't go to rehab until, I believe, 2013.
Yeah.
So it took me a good 7 years.
Some of us are more stubborn than others, Kurt.
So, I continued on with TNA, and I had a great career with them, but I made a lot of mistakes there too. And Dixie Carter treated me really well. So, I made a lot of flubs in my life, but I had a lot of success too, a lot of ups and downs. Do I have any regrets? Yeah, I wish I would have never broke my neck and started on painkillers, but there's nothing you can do.
How do you change a broken neck? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you left, did you think I'm never going back, or anything like that at that point?
I knew I would be back someday. I just didn't know when. I thought I'd only be gone a year or two. And I just wanted to change of pace, a different environment, a different life. And TNA offered me that. They offered me a part-time deal for a lot of money, a surmountable amount of money. And, I could work when I wanted to work. And it was a lot easier than the WWE schedule. So I knew I had to do that for a couple of years. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much, I stayed for 11 years. And, unfortunately for TNA at that particular time, that money I was getting ran out.
Right.
But I did want to go back to WWE. I actually tried to go back a couple of years before 2017, and Vince wasn't ready to bring me back. He still, I had some DUIs and some things where I kind of messed up my reputation. Yeah. I think he was waiting for that to pan out and give it some time so that people forgot about that. And then eventually he did bring me on.
Are you reaching out directly to Vince at that point too, when you were trying to come back earlier? Or are you working exclusively with reaching out to him, or is there somebody else in WWE?
I always exclusively reached out to Vince.
Okay.
Vince or Triple H. Yeah, I've had a great relationship with both of them. Vince wouldn't answer my calls, but
wow.
I don't blame him for that. I mean, he offered me the world when I took a break and I went to TNA.
So yeah, I was going to say there's probably a little bitterness or hurt or something there because he
was hurt. He was hurt because we had a really tight relationship. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.